Hey guys, Dan Hood, BIGDH2000 here. This is kind of this is something I've worked on versus showing what, kind of like a lessons learned, not lessons learned, but one of the things you come up with that, in the step of manufacturing. I'm in the bathroom right now because the lighting's better, so you can see this, okay? This is a through the fork Dragon Claw Ocularis. I kind of made with Mike Miley, Beanflip. You can see I've got flat spots for the things to sit. It cranks up in the hand real nice. It's a dedicated, as you can see by the edges, it's a dedicated through the fork shooter. The gap is about 1 1/8 inches, so it's a very tight gap. I shoot 1/2 inch through that, no problem. Now, the lessons learned, or the thing that always happens. You've heard Lewis Pride talk about this, but when you're sanding, sometimes you miss scratches, okay? Now I've polished this up to, I can usually see the scratches when I let it dry before the last stage, but I polished this up so that they really show. But you can see scratches got missed there, or there's imperfections in the material that need to be sanded further. You can see that the blue polishing compound goes into spots that are a little rough. There's another one. Another thing that sometimes happens, which you can see the discoloration here. That's actually when you go to polish, because I polish on a polishing wheel. I used the 3500 RPM to show you what it does. You can see it burn the material a little bit. Now that took me 5 seconds to sand out. A couple of other spots. Where you get spots the most is the hardest places to sand, like right there. You see, it's everywhere else is shiny except right in the dead center. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see that. You can see the little bit of blue material right there where my finger's at. You can see a scratch there. So usually what I do is I sand to the, when you're wet sanding, a lot of these don't show up. But sometimes what I'll do is, if I'm having a hard time seeing it, I'll quickly run a polish on this. Polish only takes about 30 seconds to a minute. The level of polish you need to see all the scratches only takes a few seconds, and then it leaves material in there. And then basically what you do is you just come back and you wet sand until that material disappears. Makes it quite easy. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you guys a in-step process. Now this one, I may not go any further with this one, because this one was more of a test piece. Mike Miley wanted to see if it really worked. The fork gap is a bit snug for some people, but there's some that like it. And if maybe I'll take it to the next slingshot shoot that Mike goes to. We'll let him test it for a little while, let a couple people test it. Somebody likes it, I'll finish the sanding and hand it to them. Like I said, it doesn't take long when you're at a slingshot event. Just sit there with a piece of sandpaper and a bucket of water. Anyway, just showing you guys the instep, that final polish. You always hear me talk about final polishing and then saying, oh, I found a few spots I gotta sand. Well, now you see them for real, because I left it a little more. I didn't go as crazy with the sanding on this, so I left it just a touch more so you guys could see some of these. Anyway, hope that makes sense. Once again, Ocularis Dragon Claw.